Hello and welcome to the Morningscape podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell here for a very early preview of the Tuesday, March 24th NHL Daily Fantasy Slate. Let's get into it.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.
A lot of hockey games on Tuesday, but somehow none of those 15 games are the most important game in the next 27 hours here as we sit and record this. DJ, how are you feeling before tonight's big game?
Yep, playoffs for men's league is upon us. I was on beer duty tonight. I decided to jump on that. It kind of felt like at least a couple people that I play with follow me on Twitter and probably have seen that I've won a pretty substantial amount of money over the week. So I felt like maybe I should at least grab an 18-pack for the boys tonight. So yeah, playoffs, semis. Winner goes to the championship. Loser goes home. We pretty historically have lost in this round. So it's a big hurdle, but I think we're gonna take it this year. This is the team.
The boys of destiny, as they say in Buffalo.
Hey.
We have a lot going on. I was away for the weekend, so not much is updated. Anything that was posted today is updated, so that at least is done. But we're gonna have to grind through 15 games here. I think I'm good. Is there anything you want to talk about? I know a lot's happened in the last week, but
I learned one thing, don't travel on a weekend when you're riding this hot, because you travel and there's just too much going on and the betting just didn't follow suit. But I'm only going to focus on my L's and I'm not going to talk about my W's. I'll let my haters, wallow in self-pity over all the W's. And I'll just focus on being better.
That's me. I'm a hater.
I feel like you really are the only hater. I mean, I've gotten sometimes I show you some of the DMs I get that are a little bit goofy, but I don't think they're haters. I just feel like people are just different online. Whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I can't imagine I've cultivated too many haters with not charging anyone money for these bets. Some people think I charge them money and then they pay me and then I tell them they don't have to. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, I thought I pretty obviously, but it doesn't matter.
God, people are.
How much money do you think I've left on the table this year? Especially with Dub Club has reached out to 3 times, let's run a promotion. And I'm like, there's no promotion. I'm not charging anybody. And then they just don't answer. So how much money do you think I've left on the table? If I really tried to calculate what people would pay.
I bet there is a not insignificant number of idiots out there that would pay $20 a week for NHL bets.
I think so too. I mean, I don't want to think about it that much because I just don't think it's the problem that comes if I was doing this in the NFL, it's way more money because so many more people want to bet the NFL and there's enough people out there. Well, in hockey, I think this time of the year is the perfect time for me to have fallen into this, and I'm still not charging people. So
here's what I think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm just maybe I'm wrong. But I kind of feel like in the NFL, people would be able to sniff out the fraudulence a little bit easier because I know what I'm doing in the NFL. I watch every game on Sunday. But what percentage of people that tail your bets never watch anything? They don't care. Or if they do watch, they just want to tune in to watch the guys that DJ says are good. I feel like that alone might actually make it more likely that someone shells out money for your stuff. But I don't know. Maybe that's wrong, and just the wider net is the difference.
If you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment. How much money do you think I've left on the table this season by really not charging anybody? Although some people there is a subscription. You have to set one on Tails. You have to set an option for people to pay you. And I just said I'm not putting anything else in here. So do whatever you want. And so I haven't made $0, but what is the total amount you think I could have made? Put it in the comments.
Tua says, did you make enough money to pay for you to go back to the Trevi Fountain? Sabres Nation should sponsor your annual trip.
I mean, we are really close to my triumphant return to that tweet. I have not touched it. I have made the couple mentions of it. But yeah, I just try to not focus on that until it's official. And we are at the number of points where it would be almost a 100%. It is 100%. All the models say it's 100%, but what is the actual minimum that's going to make the playoffs in the East? It's they're on that number. So we're ready.
Yeah, that is the real haters. That is the real haters in shambles. Like that. That's me. It's like, oh, I love that Sabres doing well, but it also means that DJ gets to take credit, and that's just awful.
What would be all right? Let
Um,
me one more question. We got 15 games, and I don't have a lot of time. But like, what would be the fun? Like, I was thinking, like from them, like obviously, let's just go above the threshold of nothing. Like a simple acknowledgement from the Sabres to I get a Stanley Cup ring. Like, what do you think would be the funniest outcome?
all right, close your eyes.
I'm closing.
It's game 5 of the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
True.
Who comes out to drop the puck on my birthday, May 13th, other than DJ Mitchell?
Who drops the perfect puck and they anoint the mayor of the city.
And then he tosses it behind him, not over his shoulder. And then the opposing captain takes the puck. The Sabres get blown out 27-0. And that ends the season. I think that's about where this ends.
Yeah, it's the only option. But yeah, we can get back to nonsense hour probably next podcast. We have 15 games that I have to like definitely be out of here in an hour and 15 from now, and we've done 0. So with 15 games tomorrow, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, sci-fi boy is trying to weigh in on your original question. Do you want to do a bunch of promo work on your making money on betting world? That matters.
Let's just say I do what they want. Like I just when Dub Club and Ben Raza reached out, like I just did what they said. Like I just was like, yeah, I'll do these promos. Like you'll help me and we'll do the promos. Like I'm not going crazy here. Like I'm not doing what like every day and posting a bunch of bullshit. Like I'm just doing the minimum that they're asking me to do that I'm just like, no, thank you. And again, the reason I don't really want people's money all that much. Like it just doesn't really interest me. Like I don't know. Like I might sound like an whatever, but like it's not really why I do it. Like I work a full-time job and I'd be very bored if I didn't. But like I think for me, it's like if people aren't going to focus on hockey and hockey isn't going to grow as a sport and we're not going to just be trying to bring in new people to the sport all the time, then like it just doesn't matter. Like nothing, like it's the cap on my reality in this space is really low. So it's not necessary, but we can get to the slate. Only birthday tomorrow is Justin Sordiff.
Wow.
There you go.
That's a guy.
That's a guy. Let me check goalies. Actually, I didn't check goalies.
They're not even people. They don't have birthdays.
I've never even heard of the only goalie that's in Hockey Reference. So he's from the 90s.
Here is the slate. And yes, thank you, ACAT. Enough business talk. Juice Reel, something I've never heard of. You betting people you sicken me. There's some stuff.
I'm not allowed on Juice Reel after the accident.
Oh boy, that's for the premium. That's for the premium Moinescape pod feed.
That's for the premium. That's for onlypods.com. Okay,
I am blocking because there are so many games. Some of them I don't want to read them out. I don't care enough to. It's a messy one. There's a lot of games here. I imagine Anaheim against Vancouver will draw some attention, though they're on the road. So I don't know, like the whole Cutter being on the third line of it all, like it might not be that high. San Jose and Nashville is an interesting game, but I don't know where ownership will go on either side of that one. Maybe the Islanders hosting Chicago, but Chicago has a new guy who is very interesting that we're going to talk about. And Boston and Toronto, I guess, like that could be the chalk of the night. There's 15 games though, so it really doesn't look to me like there's a 20% spot in waiting. So interested to sort of see what transpires as we come out of Monday and enter Tuesday as the sort of, the content winds swirl. So
I will promise you that the teams that garner more ownership than you'd expect are the ones that are fighting for playoff berths. Yeah, I think that would lead to maybe, I think Boston. Like I think that the Pasternak of it all, he might end up being higher owned than you'd expect. Probably Probably, you're right. The Islanders are probably the really obvious spot that like, and Columbus, like those three. Like people love playing Columbus. It fits so nicely. And like
That is
Werenski
true.
wasn't giga smashing until lately, until he, just was like, what if I get 3 points every night and 5 shots on goal? That ran out against the Islanders, but we'll get to everything. But yeah, I think those are like the obvious like chalk donkey. DJ's going to sniff it out situations.
All
Where I add
right.
the most
Well,
value to these podcasts. So, are you fixing
well,
things?
first up, we have Toronto heading into Boston. Toronto with new lines and power play units in practice as of Monday. So, ignoring whatever happened this weekend for that reason. Cowan, Tavares, Nylander. Cowan also on the top power play unit, so 3,200 there. Not a big difference from a Matthias Michelli, who I've been talking about as really liking for the past couple weeks in that same role. So I think, generally speaking, just sort of take what I've said about Michelli in the past and apply it to Cowan with maybe slightly more upside, just because of the prospect profile and whatnot. Cowan does have a slightly better shot rate on the year as well, so ultimately, I think if you're playing any part of this game, Easton Cowan makes a lot of sense as either a one-off to sort of bring back the game stack and bet on power plays and offense, or as obviously part of a Toronto build, where Tavares and Nylander are very cheap. They're playing together and are the only two maybe good players going for them. I mean, it's not great, but the pricing kind of reflects it. 15.5K for this top line. Any thoughts on Toronto here?
I mean, they're really, really bad. They're playing a very small selection of players, a lot of minutes. Like you're seeing a fourth line still only get 10 minutes on a team that's completely and totally dead. Michelli, for whatever reason, I don't know what he did, has just been exiled to the Shadow Realm. Eriksson Ek is really playing a lot. Morgan
Ekman
Riley could be
Larson.
back and on the top power play. Ekman Larson, holy shit.
Yeah.
But so I mean, the defensively, like if you're playing them, it feels like there's probably a guy here that you want to focus on, but I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah, I think
OEL
Riley is
left.
day to day.
Okay, Riley practiced, but OEL left practice. So, like, if there's a guy who's going to miss, I would imagine it's more likely to be him um,
Yeah,
than than Morgan
I
Riley.
agree.
So, I guess TBD
Feel like
there. But ultimately, I've been burned too many times by Morgan Riley to want to go back there personally in this matchup.
3,500, man. Just
I know,
it's a bad. I'm
sucks.
yeah. I don't think I'm playing it, but I don't think it's the worst option in the
All
free
right,
world. It's just
keep
which one of these players are you actually feeling good about?
keep an eye on Cowan props for sure. Especially if this many
Yeah,
games, maybe that piece of news gets lost on a certain book somewhere, and just take the best line. Is sort of how I'd want to go about Toronto.
yeah.
Boston, they practiced Huznadinov, Minton Pasta, Middlestat, Zaka Arvidsson, Reichel, Lindholm Geeky. Yes, the prodigal son Lucas Reichel returned to us, playing with Lindholm and Geeky. I'm checking the power play right now. Last game
He
because
was
if he was on
PP2,
this,
Lorai,
okay,
Middlestead, Arvidsson, Reichel, and Mitten.
okay, so just no second defenseman.
Yeah,
All right.
and
Yeah,
Pasternak is get
2,500
off the ice.
Reichel. I don't hate it. Like you need a punt somewhere. I am currently negotiating with DraftKings. Let's see, I sent them a note like a couple hours ago about Anton Frundell, but he's not added to the slate as of now. I imagine he will be, given I told them about this at like 4:30 Eastern. Um, so hopefully that's a guy we'll talk about in a little bit that we can play at the minimum salary. But Reichel, if we don't get that, is a perfectly fine way to go. I think he's a better play than Casey Middlestad or Husadinov. Just given we know that he's an offensively gifted player, and Lindholm and Geeky, while not the greatest players in the world, like they will play a lot, and the
Yeah,
secondary power play role helps. And Lindholm and Geeky are not terrible players either. So, and it's Toronto, it's comparing across the slate. So, I am always going to be biased toward Reichel, and 2,500. I don't mind the play at all. Anything on Boston that you like? I know David Pasternak's here, and I just kind of glazed over that.
I mean, I'm a low rye guy. It feels like every game you get a different version. Like lately, he's been really trending up and getting a lot of minutes and blocking pucks. And then they gave him 13 and a half against Detroit in a game that they won. So I feel like just buyer beware on defense is probably the way of looking at it. I think if you're stacking Boston, like I'm just spending the money on McAvoy. I feel like people won't. And I wouldn't be afraid to cross lines with Pasternak at all. Like I'm kind of a Zaka guy, as we've mentioned. I'm less of a Morgan Geeky guy, but I wouldn't call you an idiot. Like his price has come down a lot since his, unbelievable run of goals when he was like 6K. Now he's 5K. So I could conceive of playing him. I think Boston will be popular. I don't think I'm going here myself, but I get the play for sure.
Yeah, I mean, David Pastrnak is 8,800. You look around the slate, you have McKinnon at 10.4, McDavid 9.7, Celebrini 9.4, Jack Hughes 9.1, Kucherov 9.9, Morensky 8.5. Those are all kind of the guys competing for the salary here. Also, Brady Tkachuk, Jason Robertson, Marty Necas, a couple hundred less than Pasta. So he feels like the best of that bunch. I'm guessing that elevates ownership as well as guys like Minton, McAvoy,
Yeah,
maybe
and it's a
Zaka.
revenge narrative for Fraser Minton. Let's not forget.
Oh, yeah, wow. There we go. The Cowan Minton future of Toronto, little mini stack there.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a
I
good game
mean,
environment. Let's move on though to a game
yeah,
that I don't have any interest in. Ottawa on a back-to-back heading into Detroit. Ottawa lining up Batherson, Stützle, Giroux, Kachuk, Cousins, Greg. Uh, don't think Jake Sanderson's anywhere close. We have Lassie Thompson playing for Ottawa on Monday, so whatever. Jordan Spence 3,300 is kind of the guy that gets a bunch more minutes without Sanderson, and then Shabbat becomes the alpha male. He is 5,900 though. It's just like a no thank you all around for me here. Is there anything on Ottawa that you want to discuss?
not really. I mean, I very not afraid of Detroit right now, but I don't think as they're getting healthier, it's the time to target them with a. I think we mentioned it before, but like very priced up Ottawa team on a back to back just feels really unnecessary, and it is a through road back to back going from New York to Detroit. It's not even like, you know, it's a home and away or anything. Like it just feels like very unnecessary. We were big fans of playing Drake Batherson at 4,700. He's 6,700 now. Brady had a run there where it was like, how do you leave him off an Ottawa stack? He's like 7K. Now he's 87. And Shabbat was, the free square. Now he's 6K. Like he's priced I almost think too high at this point. Like, how do you afford it? I get the role is massive and like he does have, point and block bonus upside, but is the potential of 10 to 12 enough? Like maybe not in a 15 game slate. If you're doing Ottawa, you're just going all the way in, but I'm not because I
Yeah.
just feel like it's a really bad point per dollar situation. Like I just don't think you want to dip your toes in and play Russian roulette with which line is the line. And I guess the only added benefit is like Drew and Ridley Gregg have been unnecessary, but that also means that there's no value to be had here. So no from me.
Another reason to not be interested in Ottawa is that Detroit looks like they're getting Dylan Larkin back. So they lined up in practice today. Kane, Comfort, DeBrincat, Finney, Larkin, Raymond, Casper, Cobb, Appleton, Perron, Dries, and JVR. ASP has been sent to the AHL, so there goes a fun, younger defenseman that gets replaced with, the likes of Justin Falk and Ben Sherratt down the lineup. And I just don't think there's much here to pick on if you are Ottawa, especially relative to Detroit without Dylan Larkin, which, believe it or not, is a bit worse. So I don't think I'm playing on a 15 game slate any pieces of Detroit either here. Pricing wise, Larkin, Raymond, Finney comes in at 14.6K. They all do get power play roles. Larkin, Raymond, Kane, DeBrincat, Seider was the power play one. So Finney gets secondary power play time. I think that second line would be the only thing I consider, but it's not, believe it or not, too interesting to me here on Tuesday.
No.
Anything you want
No.
to say? Great.
I mean, I don't think Larkin's 100%, and I basically never stack against Ottawa, so it's not hard for me to just sit this one out.
All right. I don't know what the fuck Seattle's up to. I don't really know that I care. They are playing Florida. Florida is without everyone. Just I don't. You and me might
Florida's
suit up
done.
for Florida here. So while I look
We're
into
making the
what
lose.
Seattle did in their most recent game, is there anyone on Seattle that you think is just worthwhile?
Seattle really pissing me off. I mean, they just I need them to win, and they
Boy.
decide that when they're losing a game against Columbus, it's time to play a ton of Freddie Gaudreau and Chandler Stevenson, and it's frustrating. Uh, they, top power play was still Everly, Stevenson, Beniers, Dunn, and McMahon, not McCann, McMahon. Um, did McCann not play? He didn't
McCann's
even play, right? Yeah,
hurt.
he got hurt, and they called up Neiman
Yeah.
or Newman, and Newman did absolutely fucking nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, Seattle is just they're very frustrating, but I guess the final answer to this riddle is there's no Schwartz. So I don't think you'd really need to. I mean, McCann is a question mark. Like you're just playing top line or nothing, and I think it's fine. Like Beniers, Eberle, and McMahon are going to play a lot of minutes. They're all power play correlated, and it's really really cheap. But I just, God, this team kind of sucks.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah. Let's see. So McMahon was on the top power play, I think you just said that. So
He was with
fully
no.
correlated top line is the only thing you could possibly
Yeah, you
look
could.
to.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot of run too. So, yeah. Let me
Yep,
just. Did we
and
see any news on Jared McCann today?
I didn't. I just searched his name and didn't see anything. So
Nothing. Yeah.
TBD revenge spot if he is in. Who
Good
is
point.
whatever?
Good point.
Oh, it's Berkeley Cat.
What?
The Catman. If you need a punt, Berkeley Catton.
Yeah.
That's my dude.
Yeah.
A Meowds dude, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, that was full power play too. Was
Here's
Tolbin and Catton and Wright.
yeah. Here's my Florida lineup for you. Just two blank spots where Anton Lindell and Mackie Semiskevich were. Sam Reinhart doesn't seem like he's playing. He is undergoing testing. Marchand is doing the doctor tour. Maurice is a very funny guy. He also says they have an Excel spreadsheet of their injuries. Believe it or not, this team is still actively tanking. If anyone is got a hang now, they are out for the rest of the season. Uvis Polinskis and Nico Mikola also shut down for the year. Like we are just in full on who gives a fuck mode for this team. Seth Jones has come back from injury. He's been horrendous. I mean, he's tanking, I guess. So good for that. You can't play for Hagee, Bennett, Kachuk on a team like this. I'm sorry. They're 18K. It's a 15 game slate. Let's just move on.
Yeah. Yep, perfect. I still, for whatever reason, respect Seattle defensively to my own demise. Yeah,
we're just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on.
Even though I've seen recent results, I just keep thinking like those are fake results, and then the real results are going to show up any minute now.
I profited very nicely off of what Nikita Kucherov did to those guys.
They were doing really good until Kucherov broke them. They were fine, and then Kucherov broke them, and they have not recovered. Anyways, though, I think Seattle's fine, top line or nothing. We move over to Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis, the more expensive version of a lot of better plays against a Montreal team that is in must-win mode, and I think just as competitive. I mean, Carolina is holding on, over Buffalo and Tampa for the conference right now, and I'm certain they're going to continue to push for that. The second line in Carolina has been really, really good. There was a lot, like kind of a surprising thing for me, at least, was seeing just how productive they've been and how the underlying numbers really supported Hall, Stankoven, and Blake being awesome. It's tough to click on either of these against Montreal, but do you have a lean if you were going to go this route, or is it just like, I'm not doing that? I never pick Carolina. Why am I going to start now?
Yeah, I mean, Seth Jarvis unfortunately broke the curse. I think I set the arbitrary threshold at like 26 or something, and he tiptoed up to the line last game. 3 fucking power play points. Got himself a 27.5. So pour one out for the mood stat of the year. But now I can just say that he hasn't broken 28 in 3.5 months or whatever it is. So it's just so expensive. I don't have any interest. But like I understand it. If you do, they're a good team and they do shoot a bunch. Alexander Nikishin's the only guy that I click on here with any sort of regularity, and it doesn't seem like Gostisbehere's back, but obviously every day that passes, we get closer to that eventuality, so just keep an eye out there.
Yep. I think that's summarized it pretty well. Nikishin is a legitimate offensive weapon in a reduced role, but we were playing Gostisbehere at this price last year in the same role, and it's fine. Montreal on the other side, don't think it's going to be difficult to say this is a tough matchup for a top line that's really come up in price. It's something that I almost never click on, and I probably will continue to not click on it. Cole Caulfield is on another dimension, 5 points, 3 goals last time out against the Islanders to just put them way beyond the realm of existing. It feels like you want to talk about a guy that actually has upside. You're talking about Cole Caulfield in this game at nearly the same price as Seth Jarvis, interestingly enough. I would rather play Montreal 1 than Carolina 1, but I'm probably not playing either.
Montreal 1 is just so sick. I mean, the way Slavkovsky is playing it should be illegal. He's just a singular force out there. So Suzuki's benefited from that, in that they're just creating so much offense that now he's actually shooting a little bit. So when you play 22 minutes or shooting a bunch and are on one of the best lines in hockey, yeah, it's 21K against Carolina. That's about all. But this line can truly beat anybody, and I think stylistically speaking, their matchup is probably one of the better. If you're talking about elite defensive teams in the league, I kind of feel like I want to bet on Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield against Carolina more than I do against the other sort of top end teams here. So I don't know. I'm probably not going here personally, but just it's worth noting given just how fucking good they are and how good Slavkovsky individually has looked over the last 2 months, really. Pretty much in the run up to the Olympics and post Olympics, and obviously at the Olympics, he's been simply put one of the best players in the entire league. That doesn't mean Lane Hudson gets fantasy points, even when Cole Caulfield, I think you said he scored a 50 or 55 or something crazy like that. Hudson 46. Had no points. 46, great.
Yeah.
Lane Hudson did nothing. Was much to my dismay. Otherwise, the 333 was all mine.
He had 1.5. Please put some respect on Lane Hudson's name.
Yeah. So you can't go down the lineup though against Carolina. We just know that they run 3 lines deep, and Montreal does not.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That is very true. We move over
now
to
the
less. Yeah.
Chicago,
the less owned but more interesting side of the game. Chicago.
They head into Long Island to play the Islanders. All reporting suggests that Anton Frundell has his visa already ready to go. He is coming over from Sweden, and he will play for Chicago when he arrives with the team. Obviously, flying into New York, I'm not sure what that situation is like today, but if he's able to get in and be with the team, he will play. That is what the reporting suggests. And also the reporting suggests that they are going to be moving Ryan Green down the lineup. Well, why would they do that, you might think? To play center so that Anton Frundell can play the wing with Connor Bedard. And woo doggy, that is going to be a fun line. Obviously, we are hoping for a minimum salary, Anton Frundell, but for the time being, Nick Lardis on the top 6, I think he's safe with Nazar Bertuzzi. So I am expecting Frundell, Bedard, Burakovsky. They could surprise us and do something more fun than that, but in any case, Frundell, Bedard is something that I'll be watching closely for. Frundell is probably one of the best and maybe the best fantasy prospect outside of the NHL at this point. Maybe those KHL kids could, have an argument here, but he was unbelievable in the SHL. I think he's coming over I think he just turned 21. So, young guy, but third overall pick in 2024 it was. Obviously not on my sheet here because of the way I have to pull things. So in any case, he is one of the most hyped prospects to come over, the most hyped prospect in the Chicago system, and he's likely to play immediately with Connor Bedard. Do you have anything
How
to
old
add
did you
here
say he
on
was? I was
Frundell?
gonna
Or
yeah, he is 18. He has not turned
he's
19 yet. He
18.
turns 19 on May 7th. I was gonna say I feel like you're not right on his age.
What did
Um,
Elite Prospects had his birthday? Um,
it says his birthday is May
oh yeah, May 7,
7,
2007. I
2007.
read it. I read it as
Yes, he is like
2005. That made no
quite a boy.
sense, but okay, got
Um,
it.
you
Here we
know,
go.
his
I'll fix
this
it.
year he had 28 points. Of those 28 points, 20 were goals in the SHL. So like, yeah,
That
that
seems
feels
good.
very, very, very good for somebody his age. You don't see many players score at that rate in that league. So very exciting. The Islanders are a very good team, a very desperate team for the playoffs. They're in the playoffs right now. They need this win more than anything, but like they have been a bit porous defensively. And if you're going to give me a lot of Bedard and Anton Frundell, I'm going to really consider it. The second line was all on the top power play. Actually, no, I actually don't think Lardis ended up on the top power
No,
play, but
no,
it was, yeah,
it
no, it
certainly
was
won't be.
Nazar, Teravainen, Bertuzzi, Levshinov, and Bedard. I think Levshinov is still kind of a guy. It feels like him and Rinzel take turns being like youthful fantasy assets. Rinzel feels like a better long-term fantasy asset than Levshinov, but right now the power play belongs to Levshinov, but something to keep an eye on. Like this is a good spot and a good bring back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Frundell, now that they updated the age, his stats in the SHL over twice as high of a shot rate per game as the
Yeah.
average SHL forward, and a 4x primary point per game rate. Just incredible stuff from him. He's very good. I
Very
don't know
good.
what the power play is going to be. I imagine it'll be Bedard, Frundell, Nazar, Bertuzzi. But if they want to keep Teravainen in there, whatever. Like, just I don't really think that's the draw. Frundell, we don't really need to make that decision. If he comes in on this slate, he will be 2,500. Maybe it matters if you're trying to like bet an anytime goal prop if that gets posted or something.
Yeah.
But let's move to the other side here because the Islanders, of course, are going to be interesting. I think they shifted their lines last night though, and then they shut out the Blue Jackets. So what did they run
I
last
think you
night?
could just it was Heineman, Horvat, Lee, Barzell, Shen, Ritchie, Holmstrom, Pajot, Palat, McLean or whatever, Vikas, Gatacombe. So
Oh,
somehow
oh
Barzell still plays a
no.
lot of minute and Richie doesn't. I don't like this iteration of the lineup. I think you're also getting to learn that you don't like this iteration of the lineup. It feels very curated to play defense, which they haven't done incredibly well because it's sort of trying to just like add one of their better forwards to each of these lines and spread out the wealth. I mean, that game ended up being a 2.1 to 2.4 expected goal game. Columbus really did drive a lot of offense. It does make this game in general a bit weaker. I still think I'm going to be looking at that Chicago situation a little bit, but I really think I'm going to pass on this game when it's all said and done. Frendell minimum salary or nothing is my takeaway here. Like I just think this game is going to end up being much lower event than I would like it to be, and I'm just more interested in if I'm going to chase any sort of chalk, looking at the other 14 games and picking my spot. There's just spots I like a lot more, and it's just not cheap enough. Like this Islanders team is expensive. Schaefer is over 6K now.
Here's
but he's warranting of it. Barzal and Horvat are also really expensive. So
here's my pitch. Even with that Columbus game in the mix, the Islanders still are one of the higher sort of event teams over the last stretch. Yes, they have the goaltending that sort of covers up a lot of their flaws, but they've been pretty unlucky turning that into 5-on-5 goals. But yet, when you look at their offense and their defense, they are above the league average in terms of pace by expected goals. And with this newly configured lineup, yes, Heineman, Horvat, Lee is 14.4K and has a better expected fantasy point output. That's 31 over the last 10 games versus 27 actual. No matter how you cut it, that's pretty good. This second line is fully power play correlated and is 13,000 on the nose. 25 expected fantasy points and just 23 actual, so slightly below water there. But Barzell, Shen, Richie, like those sound to me like quality hockey players. Yeah, someone needs to shoot the puck, but I think that's why you just add in Matthew
And
Schaefer
that's
and say, "Yep, this is the power play." They go off. I I've been game stacking the Islanders for a while, and I don't really think I'll stop, especially if we do get to play Frondell, and sort of get this like up tempo, like new
yeah,
firepower in the mix for cheap.
yeah.
So
I get
I'm
it.
pretty
I definitely get
interested,
it.
but I understand. I understand also my initial, not liking the lineup changes. So we'll see. I do want to know if ownership gets here, because if there's going to be 15% of the field going Cal Ritchie's going to score today, like yeah, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
But people just are forever afraid of the Islanders, so I'm very curious what transpires here.
We're gonna find out the hard way. The team that people aren't afraid of is Columbus. I do think that like I benefit maybe a little more from listening to the nonsense hockey podcast that I listen to, because everyone was talking about Columbus as if they are the scariest team in the league. Um, it's like Buffalo or Columbus. Who are you more afraid of in the East now? And that seemingly got into some of the ownership. They're, like I said, they're not. Well, I mean, they were cheaper. They've gotten more expensive because like Fantilli's been really, really, really good. He's come up about 800 since his lowest price at the 19th, and others like Borensky, who dipped below 8K, are now above 8K again, and this isn't the best matchup in the world, but it is a very, very correlated, top line. Werenski makes it really interesting. I still don't hate the idea of playing Charlie Coyle, even though it makes me sick to my stomach. And the Flyers have been known to give up goals in bunches with really bad goaltending and pretty suspect defense. So, do you have any final say here on if Columbus is a good play?
I mean, yeah, I, I, I kind of think this team sucks. Like, I get it; they've been playing super well, um, but I I don't want to click on them in daily fantasy land. I never really have. I never really get punished for it. So we'll see though. I don't know. They even last game though, like
Yeah.
they're fixed. Oh, they can't score. What to do? Let's put Cole Sillinger with Fantilli Marchenko. Okay,
Yeah. I mean,
great. I'm guessing they
Fantilli did
go.
the thing. Sorry.
Well, I'm guessing they go back to Marchant, Fantilli Marchenko, and whatever. Fantilli's awesome. I would play him as a one-off if anything.
Yeah, he did the thing that was really good, the thing that got him 33 and a half points. He did that thing against the Rangers, and like there's just it's kind of an asterisk next to that then, unfortunately for him. Other than that, like he certainly has a ceiling, which is why you'll play him, but I don't know. It is tough. And I feel like at the end of the day, if I'm playing Columbus and I'm not clicking on Berensky, it just feels like you're leaving so much upside on the table, and it's really, really hard to fit in a good lineup when there's just better options. So I probably don't do it myself. I also probably don't go to the Flyers. They just feel very like discombobulated, and they felt that way all season long. It just feels like there's not the one
Yeah,
obvious like, well, this is the stack. And if they're 11-7, it makes it more interesting for sure. But they're just still playing like Dvorak and Konechny played 26 and 24 minutes. How the fuck does Alex Bump only play 13? The world may never know, other than that's just what happens, because that's just what happens. So I'm
yeah.
really
They've
not all that interested. But
they've
yep,
strung
go.
together some wins too. So like it's not like there's a big incentive for them to change and like start implementing the kids and whatnot. Like they are technically still in the race. I mean, they have 34 wins, 12 overtime losses. Like how far off of the playoff line are they?
And they're
Are
back behind
they?
Ottawa at least. So
Let's see. Yeah, they are 1 point back of Ottawa, and they have 2 games in hand on the Islanders, who they are 5 back of. Like, what you got to remember is, like, Ottawa, they're kind of screwed because their only path in is the wild card. Like, Pittsburgh and Columbus are very much catchable for the Flyers. They have a game in
yeah,
hand
and
on both of them, and they are 5 back of Columbus, 6 back of Pittsburgh. So, like, they are very much still fighting here. 7-2-1 in last 10. Yeah, we're gonna see a ton of minutes piled on the Dvorak and Konechny. I guess that's what I'm getting to.
I love the idea of the game stack here. I really do, and like I feel like you could talk me into like a Fantilli, Werenski, Tippett, plus maybe I don't know. None of these defensemen really get me going. All of a sudden, they're playing Ristolainen a ton. Top power play last game. I don't really know what the fuck they're up to there, but I don't fucking know. I mean, maybe you just don't play one of their defensemen other than Drysdale, but
I don't mind Risto. I think he's a good power
yeah,
play defenseman. So when you talk about a guy who gets a bunch of blocks too, like he'll shoot a little bit. Like I'm I'm not totally opposed to the idea. It does worry me, obviously, going 11-7. Like last game, they played Juleson and Andre 14 combined minutes. Like, what if that becomes 22? Like,
yeah,
that's very much in the range of outcomes, and it's a little worrying.
yeah.
It does look like what
Do we look at the rainbow sheet again for a second? What is Philly look like?
rainbow. Let's see. What do we got? Here we are. Not good. Very
Game
bad.
looks bad.
Everything.
Oh yeah.
Bad.
No. I mean, yeah. I think at the end of the day, I don't love it, but I do see like such a funnel of minutes going to very specific players that like does make me excited in a game that in reality these teams are not very good defensively, like, and they're not very good in that season.
Tippett's
so.
on an absolute heater right now. You know, with the 11-7 setup, you could easily stack him and Konechny and get, you know, a guy who's going to play 26 minutes and a guy who is 5,600 playing some of the best hockey of his career. And you're getting them at no ownership against the freaking Blue Jackets.
Yeah. Let me throw this at you, okay? I feel like one thing that we've been not saying almost ever to do is like getting very particular and making this sort of lottery lineup on a 15-game slate. It can feel like it's not a bad idea. Like, well, this is the best player at this price and this price and that price. But like, is just playing Tippett and Fantilli a terrible idea? And just saying that, like, you know, you just get another stack, like maybe a 4-man stack around that, betting through sort of like the clear upside guys that are going to see a ton of minutes instead of like forcing yourself into like, well, look how many minutes Konechny is going to play. And it's like, yeah, that guy can like barely skate still because he's so injured and like is going to have like fucking 9.
So you kind of like it depends on what contest you're playing is really what it boils down to. Like in the $20 that most people are sort of focusing on, I don't really think that's like I don't think that's a bad idea. If you're trying to play like smaller scale stuff though and beat a field of like 100, 200 people, like I just don't know why you're trying to cut it that thin. Sort of like, oh, you know, I'm going to pluck the perfect play out of it. Because like on this slate, neither guy is going to be super owned. So grab a teammate or two and say, hey, if I'm right, this carries my lineup to the top, like almost no matter what. Like, you know, if you get 60 points from 3 flyers, even if 30 of that comes from Tippett, you're not crying that some dude got 10 points. Like it's just sort of, it's going to be there for you. So take like the added certainty of if your bet hits, you elevate above that. Now, if you need to win the $20, like, yeah, you're going to need to find the perfect stack. And if it's not Philly, well, Tippett can help you. And if it's, you know, a different stack, like that'll be fine. Just because the payoff is so like, what the fuck? It's so lopsided. Yeah, like you get so much more.
No, I just think it's an interesting conversation that you can spread out. Like the game doesn't look good, but there's just a few particular players that do seem so good that it like still could be worth your while. It's an interesting theory to run with. We have a lot of games to continue.
Yeah, next up.
With though, and the next one is one of the better ones of the entire night for sure. It is going to be Colorado Pittsburgh.
Colorado coming off of an OT win against Washington, got Landeskog back last game, so they went back to a 12-6 setup forwards defense-wise. It was Landeskog, McKinnon, Natchez with some change-up, it looks like, but I don't know if that was the way they were playing or what. So Let's see. Landeskog, McKinnon, Natchez, Kadri, Nelson, Nichushkin, Kelly, Drury, Kiviranta, Bardakov, Nick Watt, Gavin Brindley. So Brindley and Bardakov played a combined 9 minutes. Nick Watt got 9 himself. So yeah, it's the McKinnon show heading into Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh gives up goals in bunches to everyone now. So while I update this, what are your thoughts on this Colorado squad and a 10.4K Nate McKinnon coming off of I think his one of his only pointless games of the entire year?
Do you know who they paired with Makar in that game for most of it?
Oh, it looks like Brett Kulak. I see.
It was Kulak, yeah. Revenge game against Pittsburgh. Now I'm not saying actually like you got to click on Brett Kulak, but it just is funny that Edmonton throws him away in what is really being looked at as one of the worst trades of the year. And Brett Kulak is minimum salary, probably playing with Kale McCarr, something to keep an eye on. I mean, the rates haven't been good. He hasn't done much more than get you 3 or 4, but at minimum salary, if he plays 20 minutes with Kale McCarr, like, you know, that like Devin Tays, I'm not saying he is solely the property of Kale McCarr, but like there's a reason that he has been as productive as he's been over the course of, you know, his career. And like this year's been bad, but let's move on. Colorado was a great play. Landeskog was not on the top power play. That kind of sucks. I'm tentatively interested in the second line, but I really do find it like an interesting kind of McKinnon slate. I don't think it's going to get overlooked. It's just a lot of the decks that feel the best are really going to make it difficult to pay 10.4 for Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
There are still, I mean, we still have to talk about Nashville at home against San Jose. They're rolling right now. They need these wins. Like we didn't talk about LA, who playing, you know, the Flames, who absolutely need this win. There's the Edmonton Utah game that feels really, really good. Anaheim at Vancouver. We haven't gotten to any of these yet. And like, yes, it's a great spot for Nathan McKinnon, but how many people are going to find a way to get Natchez McKinnon in their lineup in really what looks like one of the best spots of the night? So like, I do think this is where I'm going to end up hanging my hat on, and that's going to make it really difficult to play a lot of what we've already talked about and like actually make me reconsider Seattle 1, which is why I kind of said like, I guess I kind of like Seattle 1 because like that's what you're kind of down to when it comes to this McKinnon stack. So yeah, it's interesting. And like Brock Nelson, could you conceive of a world where you play Nelson and Kadri? I mean, I don't know if I'm brave enough, but are you?
I'm not. No, I think Kale McCarr at 7,400 feels like I'm just playing him as a one-off. Honestly,
Yeah.
I just
you
don't.
You can afford it all.
I don't.
You just got to be brave.
I'm not brave. I don't want to play Nate McKinnon and like he's 10.4. Like Nikita Kucherov is 500 less than him. Like I don't know. I don't really.
The bravery meter goes down.
It's. I mean, I'm very brave for fading McKinnon and losing as often as I do. I actually lost like $1,000 on the showdown slate with that Washington game, and somehow because I got passed by a non-McKinnon team, and so I went from cashing to not cashing in like the high stakes stuff, and it was like I had McKinnon, and they didn't, and I'm like, damn, like I really played myself. So yeah, McKinnon sucks. We all know this. Kucherov's better. For Pittsburgh, this is nowhere close to updated. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not playing Pittsburgh against Colorado.
Yeah.
It could be a good matchup. Erik Karlsson's been priced up, though, which is really the only reason I've been interested in them. So let's see. They didn't practice today, obviously, or else I'd have updated it.
Malkin, Crosby, Rust. I mean, not Malkin, Jesus Christ. Raquel, Crosby, Rust, Chinnikov, Novak, Malkin. The rest, who fucking cares? Top power play was what you'd expect it to be. Chinnikov came in for a little bit instead of Raquel, and I don't really know why that happened, but you know, I doubt that sticks. But Chinnikov has still been really, really involved. I mean, again, sometimes history proves people wrong, and sometimes history proves people right. Igor Chinnikov, proven correct to be like, hey, Columbus, fucking play me. And they're like, fuck you, no. Well,
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, Columbus. You're chasing his tail right now, and he is really productive. Maybe you should have given him a chance. Like I've been saying for years, 4,600 still isn't enough for him, but you know, I get that you might have bigger fish to fry than trying to squeeze in Igor Chinnikov. Let's keep it moving to what's probably the best game on paper of the night to watch if you just like watching really good hockey.
Yeah, that's assuming Kaprizov is available, of course. He practiced today, so assuming he's in. Eric Sinek, I think, also practiced, but we didn't get lines. And obviously the I don't know, it's not the elephant in the room, but over the weekend, the Line Heathens beat reporter for us daily fantasy
Yeah.
nerds passed away in a house fire. Jesse Pierce, and obviously the tributes have been all over Twitter and whatnot, but just what a
Yeah.
fucking terrible story to open up Twitter
Fucking
to on
absolutely
Saturday
awful. Yeah.
or
I like,
Sunday,
yeah, I
whatever.
like, I
So
saw that. I like didn't believe it at first. Like it just didn't seem possible. Like it was like he was just posting stuff with her family. So horrible, horrible stuff. There's like a GoFundMe out there if you want to find it. Maybe we can repost it. Definitely, if you're still feeling generous, go right ahead. Because yeah, she always was very bubbly personality in the space, and certainly always posting the lines. I mean, it's just not other than being what I assume was a great mother and everything like that. So just awful. So yeah, but getting back to the DFS, and there's really no way to transition this
yeah,
back, but we're just going to
we
is we don't know.
we don't know what the lines are, and odds are we won't know because no one else takes it upon themselves to like tweet them. So whatever.
Yeah.
But if Eric Sinek plays, by the way, all of Kaprizov, Eric Sinek, and Foligno practice today and will travel on the team's road trip. There's no guarantee that any of them return here. So just keeping an eye out. There's the possibility that they're trying to stealth tank and get out of the wild card. Still possible that the the fuck's their name? The stupid team, the Utah Mammoth, catch them.
Yeah.
Like that's very much in the picture because, like, I mean, why wouldn't you want to play Anaheim in the first round instead of Dallas? So they could just say, "Up, you're sitting," and just hope to lose out or something. It's unlikely, but just keep an eye out for it. It's pretty expensive though, heading into a date with Tampa. Even guys like Vladimir Tarasenko, who I've been latching onto with the newfound opportunity vacuum, have been priced up. So it's pretty much Ryan Hartman or nothing, and that's only if Joel Eriksson misses. Anything more from you?
No, I agree. I mean, it's a really tough click no matter what. Like, if these guys are back, do I really trust them to play a big enough allotment to spend up almost 9K? For Kaprizov, no is the answer. So I think I'm going to fade the Wild,
Yeah,
look over to Tampa and say maybe, but I mean, at what point do we take off our running shoes on, the greatest player in the NHL, or do we just never do it? I mean, the guy is in another planet other than when he plays Calgary.
yeah. I mean, the annoying thing here is that Kucherov is doing it with Hagel Sorelli now, and consistently, so to speak. I think it's been 2 or 3 games, but Hagel's price has jumped up, Sorelli's price has jumped. Braden Point continues to fall though, and like the other shoe will drop here. Like Kucherov is going to assist Braden Point on the power play. Braden Point is going to put center Kucherov at 5-on-5 for a stretch. Like they are going to do that. Now betting it on a 15 game slate, like maybe that's a little thin. But 5,800 does make you think Point's just simply been better. He was dealing with injuries early in the season. He was terrible. Like he's back, I think, to what he is, which I don't think is all that good of a hockey player or whatever for fantasy, but it's good enough for 5,800 playing with Nikita Kucherov. So I would use some of if I'm sending multiple Nikita Kucherov bullets, I'm using at least one of them on Point Kucherov. But obviously, Surly Hagel have been so hot with him that it's unlikely to change in any given game. One other note, Victor Hedman, I think, missed this weekend due to illness. Not sure if he'll be available, but that would only create more minutes for the likes of Radish and Destu if Hedman's not playing and vacating a power play 2 spot. So Radish,
Agreed.
another good play, but not like
Yeah.
super compelling without Kucherov. So yeah,
Yeah.
Kucherov is
I,
really
I feel
good.
like I feel like my eyes being open to 7,400 Kale McCarr. Like, how the fuck am I going to afford 6,300 Darren Radish when I'm probably playing $7,400 Kale McCarr? So tough break for him. Probably not playing this game myself, but I absolutely get it. I think a lot of people will talk themselves off of Tampa, and I really like the way you're presenting playing it. Like, don't play the status quo that's priced way up. Like play the guys that are normally the coming along for the ride with Kucherov plays. We can move over though. I mean, the Devils aren't really that interesting. I don't think we need to spend more than a couple of seconds saying that we're not playing them.
Yep.
And like Jack Hughes has been really good and doesn't really matter. He's 91 fucking hundred on a massive slate. Yeah, I know he played 26 minutes last game. I don't really know what's going on other than he has upside. He's smashed a couple slates in his past 10 with a 47 bomb against the Rangers, so an asterisk, and then he has a 32 bomb. Oh, that burst the Rangers, another asterisk. So never mind. He hasn't really had a game that's mattered in the mix.
God. What is this? All right.
So moving on.
Yeah, that's wow. I mean, that's some deep research there from you, DJ. I don't. I'll just repeat once again that Dallas has been playing pretty well. They've been very good defensively. The whole Thomas Harley back thing hasn't really changed. They're getting goaltending, all the sort of all the gamut. So yeah, no interest in New Jersey here personally. Arseny Gritsuk, if somehow like the several other cheap wingers don't do it for you, he's been productive for 3,300. Get secondary power play time, and we know Glass, Heminaho are going to set him up well, so that's fine, given the Dallas depth situation. But again, they're playing pretty well of late
because they don't play any of their, they got to play Connor Brown 20 minutes. It's worked out well all season long. So we move over to Dallas, who is the only interesting part of this game, and I'd actually almost say that are probably more interesting than the field would give them credit for, just because Jason Robertson has been every bit rewarding of 8,600. Maybe it hasn't come in a massive explosion other than that Edmonton game, but that can happen at any point, and the Devils are not really warranted any respect. The game doesn't look great on paper, but it's just very much because the top line does everything for this team. Like Maverick Bourque is worth clicking on at 4,100 alongside the rest of these players. I find it hard to click on Miro at his price. I don't think it's incorrect on a huge slate to say I'm just going with the full four-man because it is affordable, but I'm probably not going there myself. Harley is, I guess, a block machine now. I guess that's all he does is block pucks, and you could click him on him as well. Like I like Dallas quite a bit here. I think it's just going to get very overlooked because it is a bit expensive, but it's not really that crazy to pay for top Dallas line.
Yep. Harley's averaging nearly the blocks bonus per night. He's got 4 points in 10 games and 4 shot attempts a game. So for 4,400, it's like, yeah, you're getting a preloaded 7 points and maybe adding more. You don't need a ton for 4,400 to be super valuable. And obviously we know he has goal scoring chops and whatnot. There's no updates on the injury front. Like Rantanen is the closest guy to returning, and he might be back for their road trip, which I think is like later this week that he might be an option. So, it's just now priced in for J-Rob and Wyatt that they're getting all these minutes. So when you're telling me 16K for those two, I honestly look at like Owen Tippett and I'm like, I kind of just want to save $3,000 on J-Rob and go down the Tippett or something. Like it's totally fine though if you want to stack up here. I get it. New Jersey's not good, but I'm not doing that myself.
Fair enough. Don't.
Okay. All right. San Jose in Nashville. San Jose, they practiced today. Igor Chernyshov returned to play back on the top line of Celebrini and Will Smith. That's going to do it for me, dog. I know Nashville's been playing super well, but Chernyshov is a lot of fun. How does he compare to Frondell? You could make the argument that because we've seen it from Chernyshov in the NHL this year, that Chernyshov's just a better straight-up play. I do think there's a path to power play 1 that doesn't exist for Chernyshov. Let's see. Over the weekend, how did they replace Tyler Toffoli on the power play 1?
Good question. Didn't really pay attention to. Actually, I did turn on this San Jose Philly game. I feel like for a little bit. Why? I don't think I remember, but it was Will Smith, Orlov, Wenberg, Celebrini, Eklund.
Okay. Eklund moved up alongside Wenberg and Graf, which isn't great. but I guess on the power play that's kind of fun. But yeah, obviously, Chernyshov didn't play this weekend, so how he slots in would sort of change any of this. I do think though that it'll be Kurashev that comes out based on the practice lines. So we have Sherwood, Misa, Regenda, Goodrow, Ostapchuk, Gaudette. I'm not sure if we saw those lines or not, or if we just got the top six. But in any case, the top six is where the interest lays. That power play unit did score Orlov from Eklund, so I'm guessing it stays like this. Um, Anything else we can pull out of looking here? I don't think so. Like Sam Dickinson looked like he was going to be a scratch, and that's not good news. We don't like that, but the whole protecting the young kids thing. I guess they're still doing that. So, or they just think he sucks, in which case they are not watching the same games I am.
Probably not. Most coaches are pretty stupid. Again, like Sam Dickinson doesn't really profile to be the guy you want to kill the penalties the most, and yet there he was, I think, leading them in penalty kill minutes last game. So, hats off, I guess, to them for being idiots. It's really up to them what they want to do with their guy that seems like the clear top power play guy, but got to be playing Dmitry Orlov 25 minutes. I mean, yeah, I love Celebrini tomorrow. I don't think that'll be too surprising. I like it a lot more with actual goal scorers on his wing and not what he started with last game, which was fucking Wenberg, who is, I just do not understand how that was a good idea, but they did change it during the game. So I don't know. I mean, keep an eye on what they do. They've tried a little bit of everything as of late. They're basically going to see who can produce goals with Macklin Celebrini. It should be about anybody, but whatever clicks is going to stick. And I hope it ends up being a guy like Chernyshov. Kurashev, they've also tried. It didn't work. Like nothing seems to really get them going. So we'll see what finally does it in this one. I don't mind
Maybe
the play
Celebrini's.
though. I think Nashville will garner more ownership. What?
Celebrini's just too selfish a player, I think, to elevate those around him. Not like Connor Bedard, who can elevate Ryan Green. All right, Nashville. Stamkos, O'Reilly, Evangelista, Marchessault, Wood, Forsberg. They played yesterday, and I believe that is how it looked. Forsberg on an absolute heater. If you haven't seen the kick pass Forsberg made, Dmitry Filipovich tweeted it, and holy fuck, like I've never seen that before. What just this dude like once a season just absolutely wows us with the sick shit he comes up with. So he's kind of on a mission right now, and they're at home hosting San Jose, and he's 7,400. Like heater aside, I feel like that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if we get a extremely high team total here that drives ownership in his direction. Let's see, as I pull it up, 6.5 minus 145. So no, not like super favored for Nashville. We're looking at like a 3.5, 3.6 team total. And there'll be higher team totals. So I do think that there's at least some way to avoid massive ownership on Forsberg. It feels like points chasing, but also I love Philip Forsberg, and it's a Tuesday, so I don't know what to do. Any thoughts?
No, it's Philip Forsberg on a Tuesday. I mean, I think it's the correct answer.
Okay.
I don't think Wood's all that necessary, but it's not a bad strategy. I just think that if you're clicking Forsberg, you are clicking Marchessault. Like that's a prerequisite for me. He provides a lot of value in his role, and this is a guy that has historically good rates, and I don't really see any reason to assume he couldn't keep going the way he's going as well. I think that's kind of a prerequisite. I worry about playing Roman Josi at this price. It feels a little bit too expensive, especially when there's so much else out there that's 200 more named Cale Makar. There's a lot of Cale Makar options that are 200 more, in case you're wondering how many there are. And yeah, that's about. There's at least one, but there's exactly the right number that you need to consider. So I like that more than the Stamkos O'Reilly situation, but I also don't hate the idea of overstacking Nashville. We can move over though to no, this wasn't a Stanley Cup. These are two teams that won the Stanley Cup back to back, I believe. And now look at them.
Correct.
Washington at St. Louis. Washington get reasons to celebrate with Ovi scoring his 1,000th career goal, including playoffs and regular season. very, very cool. They're better than Philadelphia, who I don't really consider to be alive. So put that on your locker room quotes, I suppose. Washington had 1.6 expected goals in that OT loss versus Colorado. Now they're not playing Colorado; they're playing St. Louis, as I've already mentioned. But I'm not sure how interested I am here. I mean, they are certainly giving top guys top minutes, and it's Justin Sordo's birthday. So, what are your thoughts?
We did it. Yeah, I'm just updating the lineup from the Colorado game. Looks like the top line of Protas, Dubois, Wilson, the tower line, uh, is back, which is kind of interesting to me. Though against St. Louis, like my thing with St. Louis is that I think I respect them, and because of that, I think they're gonna deaden the pace and they're gonna make life difficult on teams to really produce high end fantasy outcomes against them. And so for that reason, I think I just gotta pass on this spot. That
Me
line
too.
of Protas, Dubois, Wilson, uh, Dubois, Wilson, both on the top power play as of last game. Now I don't know if you want to call it that because it doesn't include Dylan Strome, but Strome's not been super productive. The five on the ice when they did score a goal, Strome, McMichael, sort of Hudson, Ovi, feels like the power play too, but we'll see. I mean, their power plays really struggled, and if they can set up Ovi to score, they might be first over the boards. So there's enough uncertainty here that I'm just not
I mean,
interested.
technically, Cole Hudson has 2 power play points in 2 games. I mean, one of them was an empty net goal,
Yep.
which is obviously not going to happen very often, where you score a power play goal on an empty net, but it did. So Cole Hudson is a guy. I mean, we don't. I think most prospect people have at least heard of him. He kind of profiles in a similar but maybe lesser vein than your Lane Hudson's. Again, could be a family resemblance between the two. I'm not positive, and I don't think will be a very shooty guy early on, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
St. Louis, I think it was.
Yep.
Oh, what do you got here?
Just to note on Cole Hudson, I don't have this year's NCAA stats in, but he was actually very shooty in the NCAA last year. He was not shooty as a member of the US MVP though, so like which one do we trust more? I'm not entirely sure, but obviously the US development program was many more years ago than last year's NCAA stats. So it does feel like Cole Hudson is at least possibly a dude. In a different matchup, I would be more interested. Yeah. And on slates without so many cheap forward options that I'm frothing at the mouth for.
Yep, agreed. So yeah, we move over to the Blues. Again, I don't think I need to spend a ton of time. The top line has been very good, but it's really fucking come up in price. Like 6,700 now? What the fuck is Holloway?
69, 57.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what to tell you other than you can't click on that. I mean, it's fine. Broberg and Mayu have also been really good, but they've come way up in price. 4,500 and 4K. These were guys we were paying almost the minimum salary for the minimum literally at the beginning of March for Mayu. I don't know. I mean, you can't click on these buttons here, in my opinion. I'm not going to.
I agree.
So there's that.
Let's go to Vegas at Winnipeg.
This was was this a round 2 matchup last year?
No.
Winnipeg Dallas.
Yeah.
They beat the Blues. Yeah. Okay. My bad.
All right. Let's see. Vegas's most recent game was a win against Dallas. They went Dorofeyev, Marner, Smith, Barbashev, Eichel, Stone, Howden, Hurdle, Kolasar, Smith, Dowd, Sissons. So let's see. Got to break apart this lineup. It looks like, oh my God, did they do it? They took Braden Bowman out of lineup and won a hockey game against a good team. Oh my God, they figured it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got them.
Oh, what a day for me. I'd like to thank everyone who believed in me all season long.
Honestly, I think I've said this before, but like the player haters ball sketch from the Chappelle Show really does remind me of you sometimes. And you have been the all-time hater of Braden Bowman. Like there should be an award given to you for all-time hate of a random fucking guy that like multiple people got excited to play at minimum salary that you were like, but he's bad. And it's like,
and then he was super productive for like weeks.
And the thing is you've been too hot in Moods March that I can't even say it, and you're broke because of it, because no longer are. But at one time it was like, he's so bad. I know we had 19 points at 2.5K, but like, come on. And it's just
Yeah.
like, cool, dude, cool nerd. Keep looking at your
Yeah.
stats. I mean, I've been a big believer in playing Jack Eichel. I don't think this is a horrendous spot to do it at 7,900, but am I gonna do it?
Yeah,
I don't fucking.
that's
I probably,
interesting. He has
maybe.
percolated back up. Very nice
Yep.
6.9 shot attempts per game over the last 10. He has 3 goals, 2 primary assists, 0 secondary assists. So
It
when you're
is.
talking about,
It is a good buy. It is a very good buy of a spot against a Winnipeg team that just feels so bad when the top line isn't on the ice. And like what Vegas on the road, so you can kind of, but like, I don't really know what the game plan is for Winnipeg here. Do you try to get Connor and Shifley out against the dregs of society, or do you match them up against Eichel and Marner, I guess, and try to push this to a draw? And like, I don't know. Both these teams suck with their depth. Like,
yeah,
could be an interesting game. I don't know.
I think if you do want to play Vegas, I think you just got to go Eichel Stone and just hope that they hit. Over the last 10, we're talking about a 14K line that has 14.6 actual fantasy points per game. Very bad, but you look under the hood and it's 23.6 expected DK points. Like I mentioned for Eichel, there's just no goals going in when he's on the ice that he's not directly a part of, either scoring or assisting. So those expected versus actual numbers are just gonna rebound at some point. And I think if they do, it's because Mark Stone starts doing stuff. You know, the price doesn't really reflect it, but Mark Stone is a native Winnipegger. I don't know what the proper term.
Yeah.
The old, he's from the peg, if you will. And you can add in the defenseman for cheap if you so choose. None of them are really that great. Anderson, Theodore, Hannafin, but like they're all super duper cheap. And there's
the classic 32 from Mark Stone with 2 shots, 2 goals, and 2 assists game is coming. And Jack Eichel, it feels like this will Vegas will break a slate at some point. It could be tomorrow. I am interested. I'm not saying it will be tomorrow, but at some point that will happen. And like, I think if you could take one thing away from this entire show, it's like, who should we buy low on that actually looks like it could buy low? This is one of them. And don't buy high on shit like St. Louis and fucking Jack Hughes and like, I don't know, we mentioned Columbus, like probably not the ones to buy high on, especially ones that will see ownership. So completely agree. Also, I wouldn't buy high on Winnipeg.
Yeah, Dorofeyev is cheap enough too that you could complete the stack there and not feel too bad about it. He's been good, and even for some reason it's only 5,400.
Barbershop.
He is not from Winnipeg though.
Well, Barbershop, I guess, just scored, but whatever. Let's move on. Yeah, Winnipeg, not a good play. Not going to play them. Don't have any interest in playing them.
All right,
but
let's see what was their lineup. I mean, I don't know if this lineup's actually correct that I'm looking at. So Connor Shifley, I follow. Perfetti, Lowry, Velarde. It looks pretty dead on.
They barely beat the Rangers. Hate to see that from these guys.
Yeah,
hate to see it. You would hope for better.
They did get Dylan Garanded though, so tough break for them. They played pretty well.
I hate it.
Yeah, if I'm playing expensive dudes here, it's Eichel. I think I agree with you there. So let's just keep it moving. Hellebuck is fine though at 7,300. Like Vegas doesn't really scare me. So that cheap price could garner attention. All right.
Yep. We talk about LA.
What is your drop dead time? We have 3 games left. It is 7:50.
I probably got 5 minutes. I really got to get ready. Maybe I could do a little long. Let's at least get through this game, and then we'll figure it out. LA
very quick
is something. Okay, what?
Just very quick. We have LA, Panarin, Kopitar, Kempe. The rest of the team is dog shit. Byfield, the Farrier has been okay. Everyone else just ignore them. Cody Cece is an active nuke. I posted earlier without Brant Clark on the ice and Panarin, so like without either of those two on the ice under the new coach, they're being outscored like 21-5. Like it's really bad. Drew Doughty's
I
washed.
like I
So only
watched
play
Cody
the good
Cece throw a
players.
puck into the net against Buffalo. He was just like, this puck should go in there. Like, not literally, but it looked like that on the penalty kill. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it is very tough sledding when they're on the ice. I feel like maybe someone should have told Ken Holland to sign good players and not bad players, but he did not do that, and it just feels too late. All that being said, I have zero problem with Panarin on this slate. I think if I'm playing Panarin, I'm playing Kempe, and I honestly think I wouldn't even hate the idea of taking all my winger spots and playing Laferriere. Like if I'm gonna go all in on LA, I'm going all the way in and clicking Clark as well. Like I'm probably going 4-man,
Yeah.
and just hoping that the Flames completely, spring a leak. But the Flames have, I mean, honestly, not been as bad as you might think down the stretch. There's just a lot of players that are, I think playing for roster spots, playing for making the team next year, and they just haven't looked
Yep.
completely dead.
Agree. Brant Clark is still awesome. He's basically what we
Everywhere.
said about Thomas Harley, but with an actual power play role that's really clicking right now. So he's 700 more. Just Giga Jam. Against Calgary, where we talk all the time about their tempo and having fun and whatnot. So there should be stuff here. I think these lines are somewhat accurate. I'll
It
just
was
name it.
Backlund, Farabee, Coleman, Sharangovich,
Yep.
Strome, Olofsson, Gridden,
Yep.
Frost, Coronado, and then they brought up Gross to play with Klapka and Pospisil, if that matters at all. It doesn't, but it wasn't Beecher. It was Gross, and Zari's dead because what's his name? AJ
Yeah.
Greer killed him. So
Yeah. That did
that's
happen,
cool.
didn't it?
Perrier was I guess getting a bigger. Well, he does when there's a power play, he's going to take it. But like him and Handley were the nominal third pair. They're playing Mata, White Cloud, and Ball a ton. So it's I don't know. They're kind of an annoying team in many ways because it's like hey, end of the year home game against Tampa Bay. Why don't you let the fans see Gridden and Coronado? And they're like, how about Ryan Strome, Backlund, and Coleman? Those guys go over the boards for 20 minutes, and it's like, cool. As you're showing here on the screen, if you're watching, but like Blake Coleman has been really fucking good. I think
Okay,
it's
you're really bad
at
at this
least
whole we have no time thing. Edmonton.
I
You don't need to talk
know.
about fucking Calgary, DJ.
Talk about Blake Coleman for 5 more. Okay, you're right. Edmonton.
New lines. Savoy, McDavid, Podkolzin in practice today. Roslovic, RNH Hyman. Wallman paired with Bouchard, Nurse with Ekholm. They're playing Utah. No thank you for me, but obviously note the McDavid line mate stuff.
Yep,
Anything
it is
from you?
very simple. I do not stack against Ottawa, and I do not stack against Utah. Like, not sure what to tell people. They're just kind of the perfect category of shit I don't like to play against in DFS. They limit shots
Okay.
and they allow some level of goals, so you can really find yourself putting a nuke in your lineup that doesn't explode. That was the worst expression I've ever used. That's the time crunch we're on.
Wonderful.
Yeah, no, thank you. Utah.
Keller,
Yeah.
finally priced back to 6,400. Not sure what that week was, where he was like in the 5Ks, but of course he nuked, and at that cheap price. Schmaltz, Kraus, I think they single-handedly beat the Kings last night, and then Paterka, Cooley, Gunther. It's fine, but yeah, not a game for me that I'm stacking either side of.
No interest myself.
Okay.
Like this isn't the time. This isn't the place. We have one more interesting spot, and it's Anaheim.
This podcast is great. It looks like these lines I don't think are accurate. They're definitely not accurate. Anaheim came back to beat the Sabres. Kreider, Carlson, Terry. I know Cutter was with Paling and VL. Was it McTavish, Granlund, Seneca, or did someone else work their way in there?
That sounds right, but as I'm trying to click on it, my mouse is just like, I quit.
Okay, that's fine.
What do you the buttons on my laptop like a plebe? It was Killorn, Granlund, Seneca. Is that what you said?
Killorn, Granlund, Seneca. That is correct. And then Mason
McTavish was on the fourth line with Washy, Mr. Washy, and Harkins. Yep. Top power play was Terry, Kreider, Cutter, Leo, and Jonathan Carlson.
Carlson.
I would say yeah, Mr. Jonathan Carlson actually has been pretty shooty, and good. The issue is that it wasn't like a normal trade where you get a guy that comes up to a top power play and you're like, ooh, what? Because like he was already kind of expensive because he was already doing well. But his 4 games in Anaheim, he's has like 5.25 shot attempt per game, top power play, playing a ton of minutes. Like they're giving these guys a lot. Racco Gudis comes back into the fold.
Oh,
So
damn.
the
Okay.
not that he's playing more than 15 minutes probably, but
No, good.
somebody's coming out, somebody's losing time.
It's a good
It's
call.
probably Zellweger and Moore. They
Yep.
were really bad against Buffalo. Hate to see it for myself as a like watching Zellweger like fuck up on the Sabres' first goal was like one of the weirdest internal debates I've ever had. I gotta
Stuff.
sit, yeah, just like yeah, not fun. So yeah, top line is really good, but am I ever clicking buttons that aren't Cutter Gauthier? Uh, Cutter's
Just
coming along for the ride if I'm playing the
yeah, the
Ducks.
top line 15.6K. I mean, okay, 20% right there. Just
It has
there
to
you have
be.
it.
It fucking has to be. I
I will
think
just throw
yeah,
my I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring. Paling and VL with Cutter, they play such a north-south style game that like Cutter just takes great advantage of that. Obviously, you need Cutter to have a good game, but if they do, he's 5,600 for his line mates is just too cheap. VL has made some of the sickest passes I've seen all season
yeah,
in his time with Cutter. I don't know how that happens, but it's fine.
yeah,
I have no problem playing that line. I don't think it'll get ownership at all.
yeah. I completely agree. I mean, I'm not playing the second line, and like I love Beckett Seneca, and 5,100 feels really good, but you just play that on its own, and it feels like in this iteration he's just not getting the same usage as
Yep.
we've seen before. So it's tough to click on even at 5,100, which I think is a value. But yeah, that top line is going to be, and I think rightfully so the highest owned stack of the night. I think if you're doing it, just go 5-man, play Carlson and play Cutter. You can afford the whole fucking thing, and just say that this game is 7-1. Like don't dip your toes in the
Yeah.
$20. Put your whole body in and get your get your hair wet with it. Like don't fuck around.
Yeah, and if you think Radko Gudis ends Jake DeBrusk season with a knee to knee, Kane, Pedersen, O'Connor, Ogren, Rossi, Besser,
Yeah.
power play remains the same there. But yeah, they're cheap and Anaheim's fun. So I would see a one off here more than anything else.
Yep, Rossi's
All right.
been really, really good, and Besser is probably a better play, but a little bit
Not
more
bad.
expensive. So yeah, let's top stack, guarantee goals, and get me to my playoff game.
Oh boy. Do you have top stack in mind?
I mean, I think I'm just gonna keep it. I think I'm just gonna say 2 of my favorite stacks, and you can't play them both together. But like, I don't know if I can afford Nachos with it, but I think I'm playing Makar McKinnon, and I'm going to try to get Nachos in. He feels like I need to. With that, you're really going to struggle for your second stack. I'm not sure if there's anything out there that screams off the page to me, but I'm gonna try really hard to play the 3-man tomorrow.
Who are the three? I was reading the chat and I've been neglecting it.
McKinnon, Nachos, and Makar.
Okay. Um, Also, the Neil Pionk thing was very good call out for Winnipeg. All right.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
didn't even think about that till we
um,
already moved on because I'm stupid.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Chicago game stack. So give me Bedard. Hopefully, Frondel's on the slate, and Matthew Schaefer as like the capture it all bring back for the Islanders. I really want to bet on this game though. I think the Islanders are just playing such fun hockey, and Chicago is incentivized to get their kids going.
Okay, yeah, I don't hate the idea for sure. Um,
You just got to beat
there's, I mean,
stupid Sorokin.
yeah, there's a lot of cheaper stacks that I feel like you can say, and I'm just going to be, again, can't play all of this. You're going to have to make a decision, but maybe you take out Nachos, you put in Philippe Forsberg, and you play Marchessault. And that might be really what I end up with tomorrow. Is like, unfortunately, due to the unfortunate, we're deeply out of Marty Nachos's, and if Marty Nachos is the guy you had to have with your Colorado stack, I fail. I love the Forsberg, Marchessault. Am I, you know, it's clearly Yossi. If you have it, I think you could get away with Matthew Wood though.
Okay. There are 30 teams on the slate, and somehow, by the grace of God, the LA Calgary matchup means LA is top 10 in all of expected goals, Corsi, and goals at 5-on-5. Like, how often do you get that thanks to Calgary? LA has been playing a bit better of late, but it's almost entirely because they have one functional unit that does, really fun stuff right now, and the rest of the team just sucks ass. So let's take advantage of that. LA still pushing for a playoff spot. Give me Panarin, Kempe, and Clark.
I like it a lot. Guaranteed goals before we get on out of here. I mean, again, just 15 freaking games. I think we mentioned a bazillion good plays. I think I'm going to start it off, if you don't mind, with Bobby McMahon. He cooled off a little bit after his first 3 games. They had to play, on the road in Nashville and Columbus. Well, now they're in Florida, who has nobody. So yeah, give me Booby.
Correct. They have nobody. They are actively sending players home from this game. Maybe their goalies, hopefully. Actually, keep the goalies there. They might be worse than the emergency backup. Let's go Owen Tippett, first guaranteed goal.
I really like that a lot. Oh, that is going to put us in a similar-ish spot.
Not really.
What were your stacks? Were LA and Islanders? Same thing you had on Thursday. Islanders 1 or 2?
I said Schaefer with Bedard and Frondell, so not really the same. You can take any Islanders forward, that means.
Yeah, any guy was just perfect. And then LA 1. Okay, perfect. So you have Tippett, I have McMahon. Do you have your second goal scorer?
I do. Perfect. I am going to go Dorofeyev and just take the perfect salary combination.
Okay. Dorofeyev.
Too cheap. It's too cheap.
Too small. Give me Leo.
Leo Carlson. All right.
Leo Doro.
That'll do. Thank you all for hanging out. Sorry for the abrupt exit, but we got to get DJ to his to his semifinal game. So we'll be back on Wednesday night, normal time, I believe, to talk about that mega uber nonsense slate. So hopefully you enjoy the Monday, Wednesday, Friday with 2 games or fewer all week. Any final words, DJ?
Go me.
Okay. Thank you all for listening. From Doug, from DJ, from myself, have a good Tuesday, everybody, and we will see ya.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well,